this morning, the IT department conducted raids on the properties of prominent Karnataka Minister D.K. Shivakumar, the man at whose luxury resort 43 Congress MLAs from Gujarat have been staying in order to avoid poaching. 6 MLAs have already left the party ahead of crucial Rajya Sabha elections next week, and more may resign, which is why they were herded by the party to the resort. The Congress says today's raid by the IT department was a political witch hunt. The government says the raid has nothing to do with the polls.
At least 11 crores, the Income Tax Department says it recovered in raids at 39 locations connected to Congress MLA and Karnataka's Energy Minister D.K. Shivakumar. Widely regarded as one of the Congress's main troubleshooters in Karnataka, was taken away by income tax officials this morning from the same resort, where for the last few days he has been keeping an eye on 43 Congress MLAs from Gujarat. These are MLAs the Congress sent to Bengaluru for safekeeping after 6 of its legislators switched to the BJP in Gujarat, making it very difficult for key Sonia Gandhi aide Ahmed Patel to win his Rajya Sabha seat from the state. The timing of the raids and the way they were done, the Congress alleges, reeks of a political witch hunt.
आप देखिए ये लॉबीज में जहां हम रुक रहे हैं, हम गुजरात चले जाते, उसके बाद इनके ऊपर रेड करते, तो क्या बिगड़ जाता था? अब टाइमिंग तो देखिए.
But income tax sources say the probe began after the IT department followed leads about Shivakumar putting unaccounted money into real estate and jewellery. It is suspected that he is the DKS referred to by a Congress leader in a diary related to kickback seized earlier this year.
किसी रिजॉर्ट पे या किसी गुजरात के एमएलए पे कोई सर्च टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट की नहीं हुई, उनसे कोई संपर्क नहीं हुआ. ये बात सच है कि कर्नाटक सरकार के एक मंत्री और उनके सहयोगियों के ऊपर कोई इनकम टैक्स की सर्च हुई.
In Bengaluru, as the news became public, there were protests outside Shivkumar's upmarket home. These were fans of the country's second richest minister, upset about the raids against their star. Shivkumar's troubles couldn't have come at a worse time for the Congress in Karnataka. They need him as they head into elections in the state in a few months' time. Congress MLAs from Gujarat brought to this resort on the outskirts of Bengaluru for safekeeping. The minister charged with looking after them, Karnataka's D.K. Shivakumar, raided by income tax authorities and in fact picked up from this very resort. IT authorities say they were just following up on an ongoing investigation. The BJP says it's business as usual, but the Congress is crying foul over the timing of those raids. With Kumar, Harish and Govind, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
डर और भय का माहौल जो पहले एक स्टेट में था, अब वो वेस्ट से साउथ पहुंच गया. पैसे बांटने का आरोप आपकी पार्टी पर है, हमारी पार्टी पर कोई आरोप नहीं है. वो तो आप बांट रहे हैं. जो आपकी पार्टी के लोग पैसे बांट रहे हैं, उन पे रेड करो. ये जो 15-15 करोड़ लोग 15 करोड़ ऑफर कर रहे हैं, उन पे रेड, उनके घर पे रेड करो.
Please get instructed correctly. In that resort where your MLAs are staying, no search has taken place. No MLA has been searched. A particular individual was to be searched. He had gone and parked himself in that resort.
Use state power and the agencies of the state, whether it's the Enforcement Directorate, whether it is the IT, or whether it is the CBI. Now the timing is important and significant. And the place, because it is this minister who was coordinating the safety and security.
जब वहां पहुंचे तो वे व्यक्ति वहां पर कागज फाड़ रहे थे. वो फटे हुए कागज भी और जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स फाड़ रहे थे वो भी पंचनामा में रिकवर हुए. उनको वहां से लेकर उनके घर पे चले गए. आज इस वक्त वहां पर कोई इनकम टैक्स का अधिकारी नहीं है. ये रेड्स 39 अन्य स्थानों पर चल रही है. इसको गुजरात के किसी चुनाव के साथ मत जोड़िए.
Well, quite an explosive day politically. We have former Union Minister Manish Tiwari joining us on the program tonight. Dushyant Dave, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, and here with me, Shubhrastra, Assistant Editor of the Indian Foundation, who's with us. Mr. Dushyant Dave, to you first. From your point of view, was it just a coincidence that this raid took place on this minister today, at this, this particular minister?
Well, you will never know what really is the correct timing in these matters. Nobody can defend that if an income tax violator is being raided, one should really be objecting to that. But the fact of the matter is that the income tax authorities must have had information about his tax evasion for a long time. It's not that he evaded the tax only yesterday, or that he was involved in money laundering only yesterday. So, I mean, it's not really right for the finance minister to say that really he was being targeted, because there was no need for them to go to the Eagleton Golf Resort to pick him up, because they could have picked him up a week earlier. I have no doubt nobody really has been telling as to when did the income tax authority realize that he is guilty of tax evasion. One, what is really troublesome is, and this is where we really have to ponder, we must remember that democracy and democratic institutions are part and parcel of the basic structure of the Constitution. Free and fair elections are very crucial to that. They are equally protected under the Constitution. Now, if you are having a timing like this, you are sending AK-47 wielding commandos from the CRPF or CISF. I think there is nothing worse than that for this democracy. I mean, you just can't show the strength or brutal police force in this fashion to pick up an unarmed individual who happens to be a minister. I'm sure he would have cooperated very easily and would have surrendered if they really wanted to. I don't think there is, and we must also realize, why is it that these authorities are politically blind? Do they find these kind of evasions, whether it is ED, CBI, income tax, all of them, only that the Congress and the opposition have corrupt people?
I'm going
to
talk
do we
about
not
that.
know that there are a large number of
Mr.
corrupt
Dave, I'm
people
going to
in the
talk about that
BJP?
in just a moment. But what you said, you said is, as you've pointed out, you said that this is not, can't obviously then be a coincidence as far as the timing is concerned. And I'll take that to Shubhrastra. What Mr. Dave said is the way that this has happened, the timing of this kind of, sending in the CRPF, the kind of show of strength, that this is also perhaps about misusing institutions to get a message across. What would you say?
Nidhi, let's understand 2-3 things. Number one, clearly the minister concerned is at fault. We all know that for a fact, because the kind of unfolding of events, it has basically shown that it's a part of the corrupt Congress regimes which have been in power, and it sort of reflects on that particular instance. Now, secondly, whether CRPF,
how do we know that conclusively? Because there's
if there
nothing
is
that's been said on record.
Right, but if you have 11 crore worth cash that has been shown across, with TV cameras, etc., being shown all across the country, clearly there's something fishy about it. Because if you recover these notes from 39 different locations, the minister is seen tearing up the papers. Of course, right now what we can all do is reconstruct a story. The story may all make, as Mr. Dave was saying, the story can be that it's politically motivated. The story can also be that it is business as usual. Nobody knows which side of the story is true or false as of now. So definitely we'll have to wait on that. But I would like to submit that correlation does not always end up as causation, and we should always have that nuance with us when we debate on such
so you're
issues.
saying that we don't know the entire picture, and therefore
Yes.
it's premature to jump to conclusions that this had anything to do with anything other than perceived corruption on his part. So Manish Tiwari, the question is, which is a genuine question, that if indeed 11 crores in cash has been found across the various properties raided, and that is what the IT department is claiming, then how does the minister explain that? Because then that does give prima facie a very good reason for the IT authorities to go after him.
Nidhi, what you have seen playing itself out today is the murder and rape of democracy rolled into one. And the reason why we say that is because, beginning with the attempt to try and intimidate, coerce, bribe Congress MLAs in Gujarat, about which complaints were submitted to the Election Commission. In fact, I have personally been to the Election Commission thrice on this issue. The first time we went, we submitted affidavits from those 3 MLAs next to our representation, which clearly named BJP leaders who allegedly were trying to induce them and bribe them, which is an offense both under the Prevention of Corruption Act and under the Representation of Peoples Act. Subsequently, those MLAs were shifted to Bangalore for their own safety and security, and then a canard started running on some North Korean television channels that the MLAs were running away while the state was reeling under floods. We went and told the Election Commission again, please ensure the safety and security of these MLAs and their kith and kin who are being threatened, and they will come back. And to compound insult to injury, you have a situation where the constitution is completely violated. There's a breakdown of the federal system without informing the state government, and under a constitutional scheme, law and order falls to the remit of the state government. You've used central paramilitary forces, AK-47 wielding gunmen, as Dushyant Dave was rightly pointing out, to go and raid this particular resort. And insofar as that money is concerned, I know who knows whose money it is. DK Shiv Kumar still remains incarcerated or still is being detained. For all you know, that money may have been planted. So therefore, you have a situation whereby state instrumentalities are being abused, and Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad rightly pointed out, why didn't you go and raid those people whom we complained to the Election Commission about, who were allegedly bribing our MLAs with 15 crores each? So therefore, you have a
Manish,
situation whereby
those are actually very important points
in the Karnataka government. Yeah. And let me complete. Yeah. Let me complete. And Nidhi, I was the senior standing counsel of the Income Tax Department for a very, very long time. And I can say with all authority that this is an unprecedented misuse of power. If the Income Tax Department wanted, they could have served him a notice, and DK Shiv Kumar, would have cooperated. This is to send a message not only to the MLAs in Gujarat, but also to Karnataka, which is going in for elections, because DK Shiv Kumar also is the chairperson of the Karnataka Campaign Committee of the Congress Party.
So Shubhrastra, those are actually very valid points that Manish has also raised about whether the IT department is now being used as an extension of the government to settle political scores. I mean, there are just too many coincidences in today's story to not be able to raise that question.
As I said, questions can be raised, counter narrative can be provided. We'll have to wait and watch and see for exactly what it is that one is debating. Secondly, Nidhi, I find this, I have to get into a whataboutery here, because Mr. Manish Tiwari and the other Congress leaders were completely absent when wads of cash, and I'm taking this back in time in 2015 during Assam elections, wads of cash, the Congress MLAs were blatantly showing wads of cash to the voters, distributing it was all part of recorded videos. I submitted an application to the Election Commission on that on that note. So this whole thing of we have been absolutely we are absolutely law abiding people, and we've always done things with respect to democracy is I think farcical. But because here it's the question of whether whether the IT department is in a sense being misused as an institution by the government to intimidate those that it feels are not falling in line. But including these MLAs who are staying at this resort. But Nidhi, we must understand that because we have not yet reached at the one nation, one election kind of a situation, elections will be are an everlasting affair in this country. So whenever a Congress MLA, a corrupt Congress MLA or a corrupt Congress minister or anybody from the corrupt Congress is sort of brought to books, will it always be about why now? Because there are political compulsions.